a ranking that I've been wanting to do for a while that sort of slipped my mind. Super excited to talk about these games. My favorite wrestling games of all time. Now, this is just subjective to my personal past experiences with these games and wrestling games in general. So, my list is probably going to be different than most people's, but these are the top 10 games for me personally that I enjoy playing and I love. Number 10, WCW Nitro, PC. This is a game that I got for Christmas. This was one that I was so excited to get. I had wanted it for a while. I know they had it on PlayStation, Nintendo 64, but I got it on the PC for Windows. I absolutely love this game. I'm pretty sure I still have it. The full box, complete box and everything. This is an incredible looking game. Graphics on this were so good. I like the controls of it, the play, the sprites are big, the backgrounds, the arenas, just a really fantastic visually looking game. It did lack some things as far as like entrances. It didn't have like actual entrances, which kind of sucked, but I think it made up for it in other areas. But for me, just everything about this, this was made by THQ. Definitely one of my all-time favorite games. WCW Nitro. Number 9, SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. At this stage, they were on the PS2, and this is kind of the game that changed the game for wrestling games and SmackDown, because it was more of a almost arcade-like beat 'em up style with how the game experience was. This one had so much more to it. The roster was incredible for this particular game. They really, really upped the amount of wrestlers that you could play. There was season mode. There was the GM room that, you could get title shots or switch to a different brand. You could talk to different wrestlers. It feels more of a simulation wrestling game than the previous SmackDown games before it. I absolutely love this game. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. Number 8, Pro Wrestling for NES. Man, this is, I think, the first wrestling game maybe I ever played when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure I didn't play any for the Atari or the Intellivision. And I remember seeing this game. My uncle had an NES, and we would go over to my grandma's to play it, and I believe his friend had pro wrestling. And from the minute I saw it and played it, absolutely hooked. Love this game. It's just the controls are good. The wrestlers are great. Everything about this game just takes me back to my childhood. And it's very simple, very basic, but super fun. Love this game so much. It's probably always going to be on my top 10 favorite wrestling games of all time. Number 7, WCW NWO Revenge for Nintendo 64. I remember buying this game at Best Buy for my brother-in-law for Christmas as a Christmas gift. And I think it was 98 or 99 when I bought it. And it was like $60 back then. I remember thinking like, man, this game's so badass. I didn't have a Nintendo 64 at the time, so I didn't get to play it. But when I finally was able to play it, I just thought, man, this game is incredible. I mean, it had all the superstars. The entrances were incredible. The gameplay was top notch. It took everything that WCW NWO World Tour did and made it better. The pay-per-view backgrounds were, I love how they had the main pay-per-view stages for WCW at the time. The arenas for this game were so sweet. They had, of course, Nitro, Starcade, Bash at the Beach, and my all-time favorite maybe, Halloween Havoc. Just top to bottom, this game was so fun. Really set itself apart from any other wrestling games that were out there. Can't get enough of this game. I still own it and play it to this day. Absolutely love this game. It was a total game changer. And it kind of made you, if you weren't a WCW fan, it kind of made you want to follow it and, keep up with what's going on there, because this was such a good game and it had such a huge impact. So yeah, this game, I can't say enough good things about it. Number 6, WWF WrestleMania for NES. And I know I'm going to get a lot of people who disagree with me on this, and a lot of people who absolutely hate this game. But for me, this holds a special place in my heart and my childhood. I used to rent this game from the video store, and I used to play it with my buddy Joe at my house. We played the crap out of this game. I have a picture of myself playing this game with my buddy somewhere. I gotta find it. But yeah, I loved it. I loved the music. I loved the wrestlers that they had, because it was just a throwback to, you know, in my opinion, one of the greatest eras of professional wrestling. You know, they had Andre, they had Hulk Hogan, they had Ted DiBiase. This game to me is very special. I'll always remember the fun I had playing this game, and you know, the joy it brought me. So WWF WrestleMania for NES. Always love this. Number 5, WCW vs. the World, PlayStation 1. I kind of stumbled upon this game. I think I got it in like a bargain bin. I really didn't know much about it, but this game is incredible. It has such a huge roster, and it spans WCW, NWO, some Japan wrestlers, and I love how they're animated. They're like almost like a cartoon like, and they're not like the real images. That's kind of a nice touch on it. Or there are no entrances for this, which is okay. I don't mind it. But the gameplay on this is really good. It's a very fun game. I love the ring attire and the arenas that you get, because they're different from traditional, you know, WCW or WWF, WWE type ones. So you get a nice variety of that. I believe this was the game that came before WCW versus NWO World Tour. And it had a great grappling system with it. Really fun game to play. Something I go back to all the time. If you get a chance and you haven't played this game, I highly recommend it. It's a very underrated game. Most people will talk about World Tour or NWO, WCW, NWO Revenge, and kind of gloss over this one. WCW vs. the World, PlayStation 1, check it out. Okay, now we're getting into the top 4, and this part of the ranking, you know, they can be interchangeable depending on how I feel and you know, what I want to play, but these are the top 4 that I think probably will always be there. Number 4, WWF WrestleMania 2000. This was basically WWF's version of WCW NWO Revenge, and they took everything that they did, made it 10 times better. This game is iconic. It is so deep as far as roster, matches, you know, what you can do as far as going for a tag team championship or a WWF championship. The arenas are great. Everything about this game, it's just, I can't say enough positive about this. It's, you know, one of my favorite all-time games, obviously. I still have the complete box and game and everything from when I originally bought it. Love it. Number 3, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. This game will always hold a special place in my heart, as well as WrestleMania on NES, because this is a game that I played with my son all the time, and it was one of the games that he grew up on. He was such a huge wrestling fan. He would always have all his wrestling guys and his wrestling rings, and we'd get together and watch wrestling, and you know, we would play SmackDown versus Raw 2006 on the PS2, and had so much fun with it. Took everything that they had done before it, but made it so much better. You know, you get a plethora of arenas and game modes and so many things in this to love, and it's one that I often go back to and never get tired of playing. So SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, this one holds a strong place in my heart and in my memory bank. Number 2, WWE 2K14. From the minute I played this game, I knew this was going to be one of my favorite wrestling games ever. It was the first game that we ever got to play and recreate the previous WrestleManias from the past up to the current. And you get to relive and replay the moments, you know, Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker and The Rock and John Cena and, you know, Shawn Michaels ladder matches. You got The Undertaker WrestleMania streak mode. Just so many things about this game to love. One of the things that I really appreciate and enjoy about this is that when you start out with the original WrestleManias, like 1, 2, 3, it has sort of a grainy look to it. And as you progress, the color and the visuals of it look better. I absolutely love this game. I play it all the time. Hell, I simulate matches in this game all the time and just watch it and let the computer play. This game is just so fun and so enjoyable. And for me, the fact that it has all the WrestleMania arenas makes it even better and more enjoyable to play, because it's, you know, there had been nothing like that before. And this one will always be in my top 4. And right now it is number 2, WWE 2K14 on Xbox 360. And number 1, this is probably no surprise, and for a lot of people I think it's their number 1, and it still holds up to this day as one of the greatest wrestling games ever created. WWF No Mercy, Nintendo 64. I've sort of said it before about other games, but this game took what WrestleMania 2000 and Revenge and all those other games did before it and just put it to a whole nother stratosphere. The gameplay was incredible. Such a fun game if you were just playing against a computer or playing against your friends. The match types they had, you know, you could challenge for a title. The story mode, the season mode that they had going on is and always will be one of the greatest wrestling games ever created. There's just something about it, and sometimes I can't always articulate and put my finger on what it is. It was an amazing time for wrestling and wrestling games. You know, honestly, if they just did updated rosters with this game's engine and gameplay, I would buy it every year. Because to me, this is the king of kings as far as wrestling games. There's nothing that stands above it. And for me, I think it always will be high up top as my favorite wrestling game ever. I had a really good time making this list because it drove me back down memory lane. If you haven't played any of these games or haven't checked them out recently, I implore you to check them out. To me, they're the best of the best. So thanks for checking out the video and the channel, and have a good day.